not going to happen. Edward had to pull out the silent USB, gets the mop up. That's going to tie things up at 9-9 now as Navi's battling back and looking to try and take the lead.
I mean, that's a cool play there from Tempo Storm. You know, nade stacking window from behind the smoke on Cat where Guardian has no real vision. And then the nades land, they get the frag, they try to fall back A, but Flamey, the A anchor there for Navi, not having any of it there, being able to get a couple of kills, and then eventually the rest of the team closing the round. But here comes the opening by Roka. Going to be throwing that smoke as well again at Cat, you know, trying to block off some vision here, but they're definitely staging up for A. Guardian playing the edge of that, but now coming into catcher. Here comes a set A hit, but Flamey push all the way up A ramp, but he gets caught by Stanislaw. Great play, and now Tempo Storm will start rolling into the A bomb site here. Lots of smokes covering the retake points.
Yeah, Tempo Storm's got a good opener there. Oh, Guardian actually trades out Roka before Guardian finally goes down to Shazam, so it will be a 4-on-2. Bomb is going to be down. They have to try and protect this here. Here comes the rotates, though. And that is going to be Edward rotating all the way over, able to take down Shazam. And time is ticking away here. They do have a kit on Seized. I don't know if Seized is going to be able to get in there fast enough. They will be 2-on-3 now, and at this point, they're wasting so much time, they're just going for exits.
Yeah, and that was just a heads-up play from Stanislaw, catching the aggression from Flamey over at A ramp and helping open up that A bomb site. Some great smokes. You saw Guardian slip in, grab a frag with the op and a gap in the smoke towards Palace, but eventually cleared out immediately there by Shazam, so well traded. And that's just, like I said, the Tempo Storm team's really playing some well-disciplined Counter-Strike. You don't see many errors and many mistakes, which is brilliant for such a new team to land, to see them just playing so composed.
Yeah, definitely. They're looking good here. Tempo Storm retaking the lead again, making this a 10-9 map in their favor. But still, Navi's going to be back onto the buy. Except for Zeus. Doesn't have a lot of money, so he's getting an armored pistol upgrade here. No omp will be coming out for Guardian. They don't have the cash to make that happen. So let's see if Shazam can run away with this a little bit here, as he's not going to be contested in mid, at least by an op this round.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to see here Shazam pushing up with the op, and just want to note here, the frag distribution so tight for Tempo Storm here on the T side, which is something we've seen really the whole tournament for them, and that Stanislaw once again leading up the A ramp, grabbing a pick, but they're trying to come up. Cat, Edward pushes, he gets caught by Rix, and I mean, Tempo Storm catching all kinds of breaks right now, all kinds of frags, and they have so much map control at this point at mid.
Yeah, Rick's going to rotate all the way up into the ladder room. Just going to hold that angle. They only have one player left to beat at the B bomb site. That is going to be Seized. Seized will be trying to wrap his way on Catwalk. This might get him punished here if he doesn't check up top, or Rix has his back turned to look into the ladder or into the window room. It's going to go rough. Seized has an idea. Checking. You can see him constantly checking to find out. Just moving back and forth. It doesn't really go for the wide peak. Now we know for a fact as Rix is able to take down Zeus. There's Seized on the trade out frag, but he's going to get caught out of position now as the rest of the T's work their way into B, and Shazam does hit the arm shot to remove Seized. So now it's just going to be Flamey, 1 versus 4 on the rotate.
Yeah, he's just going to save this in 4. I think maybe look for exits at upper B. But, man, Tempo Storm just catching breaks. Like, you see Navi trying to push, you know, especially at the catwalk. You saw a push there from Seized on ladder room. You saw Edward push. They both get caught. Seized, in fact, on the fallback, caught with the flash out, basically. And it's just Tempo Storm just moving around the map quite effectively. Like I said, getting these early picks, getting map control, establishing themselves. And they're, like I said, they're just playing so well composed. They're not worried about who they're playing against. They're just playing their game, and so far it's been quite a good one.
Yeah, Tempo Storm looking good here. They're going to turn this into an 11-9 in their favor. Ooh, maybe Flamey can get something here. No, I don't think anybody's going to really push too far around the corner now. Automatic's going to stay safe. Same with Roka. Stan won't even get close. They throw a flashbang anyways, just to check and see if there's somebody there. They didn't get very far with it, but that is 11-9 in favor of Tempo Storm, who's looking good here. And as you can see on the other side of thing, Navi with not very good money. They are able to save that one rifle on Flamey, but it's going to be an eco coming from them.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell they're concerned. You know, we even saw this on T side sometimes, some different force buys that you might not normally see for them. And here, you know, they're trying to buy up with the cancel CCs and M4. They do have 3 up close here on the A bomb site, but Tempo Storm just walking up, and we're going to see some aim battles here. And so far, it is Tempo Storm leading the charge with Rix, really, who's having a great game. And they're trying to push this to 12-9. It's looking fairly likely at this point. Look at these kills just sweeping through the site.
Yeah, only one player left alive. That is going to be Edward. Edward is able to get one onto Rix, but automatic quick with the trade out frag as they have the gun advantage. That'll make it 12-9. And Navi here trying to pull this one back in their favor. They're going to go back onto the buy. So hopefully the omp here coming out from Guardian will change the tide of this game in their favor, because, I mean, Tempo Storm is they're winning right now round-wise over Navi on Navi's map.
I mean, look at Guardian. He's 9-18 right now. This is just not the Guardian I've ever expected to see. You saw him struggling on T side to find picks and such, and now here on the CT side, he's had a tough time as well. Of course, the economy hasn't allowed him to have an out quite a lot here on CT, but even still, when he's had it, he's been nade stacked out of window. It's just like they're avoiding him. Not necessarily, it's really like making sure he can't have an impact, and that's crazy to see him so down low. And now we are going to see another A push coming up, but Navi holding up close, getting the better of the deal so far.
Yeah, that's going to be Flamey able to pick up not able to pick up the secondary one. I thought he was going to take that one down, but Guardian does answer, or removes Stan from the round. We have Rix and Shazam left alive. Shazam's got to be careful. Seas is working his way up. There's CT spawn on him right now. They're not checking for it. Here comes Edward up the ramp, and Edward's going to close it out, able to get himself 2 frags. That's Navi keeping this within 2 now. That'll make the score 12-10. Tempo Storm still has some bankroll left to play with. They should go back onto a full buy.
Yeah, they will be able to fully buy up here, but Navi are going to finally get themselves in a round after a 3-round scoring drought. They're able to put a point on the board, and we are going to see Guardian being able to get the op back. They're actually going to go to a double op setup. Edward's going to have the other op here, so they're going to try something a little bit different, as Edward will actually be taking his. And he likes to play really aggressive cat, so I assume that's what he's going to be looking to do here, bring that op all the way out there, help support Guardian over at mid.
Yeah, we're into round 23. Navi's trying to get this thing back within 1 round. I mean, after a little bit there, they were able to tie that thing up, and it's just not going back in their favor. I mean, Tempo Storm looking extremely good. Blamey is going to try and run away with that one, and he will be able to take down Stanislaw, and he's able to get a secondary one, too. That's going to be Shazam out of the way also. So the comeback here from Navi is looking pretty good as they're able to get those 2 initial frags, take down the op. Roka will go down to Edward. So Edward with the op in his hands is working out. So the double op look is working here, holding from the CT side. Bomb is going to be planted into the B bomb site, and we're actually going to lose Rix. Automatic to be the last one left. They know exactly where he is. Guardian, perfect position to be able to defuse that without getting spotted. He will get the defuse. Automatic will hit the op shot on the Zeus, but Zeus threw the Molotov down to prevent Automatic from coming out, so he ends up barbecuing himself to get the shot.
Yeah, and it's right there. You saw Tempo Storm trying to throw a little bit of fake at the A bomb site and hit upper B off of that, but they can never really get any actual picks. They didn't really cause any type of disturbance, any type of rotation. Seas maybe kind of rotate off the site a bit, like more towards window, but he still never really left the site, and Edward was always there with the op to back him up on cat. And so, like I said, the fake just couldn't be sold well without having the actual fragging power over on the other side of the map, and Navi holds firm and secures a round, and that's now 4 rounds in a row for them. They're looking to tie this thing back up at 12 all.
Navi's going to be holding on with those rifles. No double off look coming out from them this time. Going with it. And it's going to be all 5 rifles coming out from Tempo Storm, though. Roke is going to eat that grenade, go down to 64 HP. And they're still going to be trying to work this up towards Catwalk. Good boost is going to come up here, but it doesn't catch anybody off guard. Zeus was already ready for that. Looked up, heard the sound. Rix will trade out the frag, though, but already Rix has to be careful. Right below him is going to be Edward.
Right.
Does he go for the peek onto this? He's trying to spam up in to anybody in jungle, but he's going to avoid it for the time being. Edward actually hits a shot, and then he's able to get another one onto Rix. That's Stanislaw and Rix both out of the way. 1 down in mid. Rix was going to be out of the ladder room. That makes it a 4-on-2 now in favor of Navi, who's going to be able to tie this up here unless Roka and Automatic can come up gigantically huge for their team.
Yeah, Mac looks away just around high, but reacts well. Still grabs the kill on there to Edward at the end of the day. Roka now left in a 1v3, finds one, but Guardian there with the op. And you see Navi changing things up a bit. They do occasionally like to move Guardian's op around the map, either cat, A, just all over the place, of which Edward will fill the gap inside window. And you saw that round, Edward able to come up with a couple of kills, and he's actually at 20 right now. So despite the fact that Guardians suffered well, you still getting the production out of Season Flaming you expect, and Edward's also been a big factor here. So they have tied up the game. So things are starting to, it seems like things are starting to get back to reality here for Navi, and we're going to see if they can keep it going. It certainly does help that Tempo Storm, very limited on the type of firepower they're going to have going into this round. That's definitely going to do wonders for Navi.
Yeah, the game's 12-12, all tied up right now. Into round 25, Navi trying to take the lead away from Tempo Storm. Tempo Storm going to be onto just a pistol buy here. Zeus will hit the first shot on the Shazam. Rix gets one of his own on the trade out, but Flamey's all over it. Stanislaw in a great position here on Guardian. Does Stanislaw get out onto Guardian? There's 2 CTs right there. He walks by the first one, able to take down Edward, but Guardian turns around with that off in his hands, will get the frag. That's a 3K for Flamey. Guardian and Zeus get the other 2 kills, and that'll be Navi up by 1 round now.
Yeah, like I said, Navi really starting to do well here. That's now 4 rounds in a row for them, as they are going to be up 13-12. But we are going to see Tempo Storm being able to get a buyout here. They're going to have AKs across the board. We do see a couple of Molotovs there on Rix and Shazam. We do see a lot of those forces heading over to the A-bomb site, so we can definitely just see some type of heavy smoke set up, maybe some mollies to clear on their balcony, maybe to hold off retakes. I mean, there's so many options here for them. And we do see, you know, the A passive play right now from Navi. So, I mean, this could actually work out for them getting into the actual bomb site.
Ooh, Flamey with the burning frag there onto Stanislaw. Roka's able to hit one, though. Trades out Flamey. This round's going to kind of try to turn back in their favor, especially after Edward and Zeus both go down. But Guardian again up in hand. Will be able to take down Shazam. Automatic gets a frag of his own. That's going to turn this into a one-on-one. Bomb is going to be down wide out in the open, so let's see what Guardian can put together here. He gets spotted out. Automatic has to fall down. He's still going to be able to get the frag, and Automatic will tie things up for his team. 13-13 will be the scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually Tempo Storm pulling a page out of Navi's book. Like I said, Navi's the one who kind of innovated some of these wall-offs on the A-bomb site where smokes are on kind of top stairs and kind of work their way through the center of the bomb site. That's time. It's Tempo Storm who breaks it out. Flamey initially getting some picks through some gaps in the smokes, but there at the end, I mean, come on, Automatic comes up with the quad kill. That was just a huge individual effort from them towards the end to clutch that up. And now it's tied up 13-all. Navi, once again, in a really tight situation where they're just working with a FAMAS, you know, a CZ, 1 SMG, only 2 M4s, limited counter nades. I mean, this is, you know, boding pretty well here for Tempo Storm, actually.
Yeah, looking good for Tempo Storm, able to tie that thing back up at 27, or into round 27. They can be trying to fight for that 14th round in their favor, and they've already had mid-control here. They already worked their way all the way up in the connector. It's going to pull a large rotate over from Navi, though, and I mean, already up is going to be Guardian and Zeus, or excuse me, Edward and Guardian are going to be the close players right there to the connector in the jungle. So if either of these Tempo Storm players, either two of them, Roka or Automatic, get too aggressive out towards jungle into the connector, they're just going to get punished right.
They have Edward inside window room that he likes to play this spot when they're moving Guardians op around, which happens to be over in jungle this time around. Automatic
rotates in, gets a nice shot onto Roka. Now he's going to be another one out the door, takes down Shazam. They're going to find Rix. Now they know he
come up with some absolutely brilliant plays, especially some retakes on the B-bomb site. And that's, like I said, Navi holding off